turning the head away, looking up, and looking down. All right, welcome in everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Will Myers, certified personal trainer and licensed massage therapist specializing in manual therapy. I am an educator to the core, and I'm going to start this new series off starting with the head and neck. So the purpose of this video is to get you some quick information on how to release some of these major muscles of the neck. Now remember, the muscles of the neck, their specific job is to stabilize, flex and extend the neck. We also can turn the neck with rotation. We've got tilting as well, just all different types of stuff that we can do. The issue with sitting a lot and driving a lot is it really tightens up these muscles. So let's take a quick second and get an eye on what we're going to be working. All right, so I highly recommend that whenever you're getting ready to work on something, take a look at what it looks like when it comes to an anatomy chart. So we're going to be working through these muscles here. Notice that this is a big muscle called the trap. You've got that very powerful muscle called that SCM, sternocleidomastoid, there as well. And we're also going to be working through these attachments down here. You've got your subclavius down there, but a lot of different stuff that aids in rotation, or in some cases actually inhibits rotation. You can notice as we look into the muscles of the neck here, these are the deep muscles of the back. Those are those erectors. They actually go all the way up into the hair there. You've got your levator scap as well. We're going to play around with a lot of that and make our way through. All right, so if we look at this diagram, this is one of those Kent charts, by the way, David Kent charts. This is going to give me a really good close-up look. So once again, the point of looking at all this stuff is so that you can understand where the muscle attaches. When we understand where muscles attach, then we can understand what their purpose is. Once you understand their purpose, you can then understand how to release them. Okay? All these images showing multiple different places of the common trigger points. Notice a lot of those muscles are in the jaw too. But here we're going to focus on this one today. I'm going to give you a couple techniques that even though we're paying attention to individual muscle groups, the techniques that I'm going to give you are going to actually impact all of that in many different ways. But as you can see, I'll just give you one. There's that SCM, and look at all those markings right there. That's where the average trigger points are. Now look at the red dots. That's where the pain is referred to. Okay? Pain referral is huge when it comes to manual therapy. So let's kind of get into some of this stuff. All right, so what tools are you going to need today? So for the most part, we're really just going to be using the fingers. We've got two different parts. I'm going to be using the pads of the fingertips or the points of the fingertips. Now for the most part, that's what we'll use. But then also I have a couple other options. So you've probably seen or worked with some therapy balls in the past. This is your classic 5-inch diameter therapy ball. You can get these on Amazon. Basic tennis ball, and this is one of those like little balls you can get from the gumball machine. Can really help with working into joints. And as we make our way through this series, my goal is to get through the entire body over the course of multiple months, however long it takes. But I'm going to show you how to use all these different tools. Okay. Also really popular is the lacrosse ball. The main difference between all these balls here is of course the size, so that's going to change what muscle groups you use, but then also its pliability or its ability to squish down at all. That's also going to change how much pressure you put into the muscle, so that also helps you decide what muscles to use it on. Now, very popular questions all the time is these massage guns. How can I use these? How can they help me release tension? What can they be used for? The main thing I want to tell you with these things is make sure that you do not put it on a bone. Okay, we do not want that type of impact going onto a bone. And also the idea, you need to remember, the main idea for this is to energize muscles, not necessarily to dig down into and release trigger points or try to lengthen muscle, because you would never want to be using this on a muscle while you are stretching it. You want it to be in a relaxed state, and remember, this is specifically energizing a muscle. Okay, we may have to make a video on that in the future, but a quick example on that one is if you're sitting all day, okay, the muscles that you need to lengthen and stretch are the hip flexors and the front of the body, and even those quads that get a little bit tight and hammies. But the ones that you would want to energize are the muscles that you've been sitting on the whole time, so your glutes. Okay, so we may even get into more detail with that in the coming future. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start off with working the muscles in the back of the neck. These are the muscles that are responsible for lifting the head up, okay? They also need to release when you look down. So there's two different things going on. So the first thing is we're gonna take the hands and you're gonna kind of interlace your fingers behind your neck, and then the hands are gonna do this, pulling forward. So I'm interlacing them, and then I'm gonna put some good pressure in there, and then pull forwards, and then come down into the collarbone area. So again, feel where those vertebrae are, dig those finger pads in there, and then pull forwards. Good. Now, the way I like to really add to this one is to start by looking up. So you get your fingers in there, look up, and then as you pull forward, your head then comes down. Now, you can use all four fingers and the full hand if you like. If you want to get more specific, which is what I eventually do, just take two of those fingers, feel all the way up to here. You feel that bump there? That's your occiput. You're going to be attaching right below there. Remember, your head is up. As you come down, look down and bring those fingers forward. Then just make your way from the base of the skull all the way down. And notice how I'm looking down as I pull my hands forward. So I'm increasing that stretch, pinning the muscle, and then stretching down. Good. Okay. That's all those muscles right in the back there. Let's continue to make our way around the neck. So next we're going to use those pads again, and this muscle right here, that SCM, it's attached right up in this area, and it's going to come all the way down in front and actually attach to your clavicle. There's two different spots that attach to, so let's go ahead and practice that. Use your finger pads here, keep your head nice and straight, slide down to the collarbone. Notice I'm not going to the trap. If I wanted to go to the trap, I'd be going this way. Instead, taking those finger pads, coming down and really meet down at that collarbone. Now this muscle, when it's contracted, your head's kind of going down a little bit, so we're gonna look up while doing that movement. So start with your head down, pin those fingers in there. As the hands come down, look up and give that a real good stretch. Again, pin and look up. Good. Now let's get on to the trap on this side. Okay, so I'm gonna go from my ear down to my shoulder. Okay, so again, that movement is just sliding down to the side, staying above that collarbone there and just on the muscle of the traps there. So again, pin and then slide all the way down. Okay. The way we tilt and move with this one is tilt your head in so that muscle kind of contracts and we can kind of push it together. Then as you're sliding to the shoulder, tilt your head the opposite way. Okay. Really dig in there. Now you don't need any type of lotion or anything with this. We want to get as much traction as you can because you want to imagine that you're pushing through the skin. Okay? Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So the pads, the first one is the SCM. We're going down and then we're going to go down the traps. Okay, so again, pin in, tilt away. Okay, so with this one, I'm squishing in there. I'm going to really look up as those hands or as those fingers are sliding back. Good. Okay, let's move into the trap. Pin again, and then across. I'm sliding the fingers down as I'm tilting over. Okay, very good. Now I want to get into the really deep attachment points of all those muscles of the neck, okay? So we've got this triangle here. Think about up here, the traps are the top of the triangle, that clavicle is the bottom of the triangle, and then the SCM here is the other side of the triangle. So you got this nice soft area. So we're gonna pin with the two fingers, pin on the outer portion. So right above that clavicle, in by the shoulder, and push your trap backwards. When you push it backwards, the next movement is I'm going to tilt my head away. and release the head. So you're going back and forth. What I like to do here is every time I inch my fingers away just a little bit, and you just want to kind of dig your way into that trap, but now this time you're not sliding, you're pinning the trap and then you're stretching it away. Good. So that's that corner. You want to kind of work your way. You can do some circles in there, but again, pinning, good pressure, and then tilt away. Now we're going to work down in here deep into that clavicle. So again, reach past the clavicle, push down. This is the other corner of that triangle. Okay, with this one, I'm going to pin. I'm going to then turn my head away and look up. And then release that. Again, find another spot in there, turn away from that clavicle, and then look up. Good. And you can work your way around that whole area, looking up and down. Some of you may really feel the tension when you end up looking down, or some feel it most when you're looking up. Okay, but just kind of work those fingers around in there. We want to try to release as much as you can through that area. So again, real quick on this other side, the first one was I dipped in that one corner of the triangle and pushed the trap back, and then I'm tilting my head away with my idea of trying to increase and lengthen that entire area. Then the next one, I came into the other side of the triangle, pushed down, and you can find which way you like the most, turning the head away, looking up and looking down. And then of course, making sure that you are going up and down with those hands, whether it be on the inside or the outside, okay? We're gonna practice a whole bunch more different ways of doing this and all across the body, but that was a real quick release on how to work with your head and neck there. Again, many different techniques, many different styles, so give that a shot. See you next time. Bye.